Previously on DrakeParagon.
This is training for when we're gonna fly Harry through icebergs in Greenland. What a beautiful day for a sail.
What kind of boat is that?
There's always something new going on. It's always nerve-wracking when we fly Harry. I think we're in trouble. I'm most interested in Greenland. It's a big unknown for me. Will we meet people? Will we make friends? A lot of my worry is the boat going to be safe?
That's really good. There's the raspberry. And again, this really knocks the socks off.
Woo! Eastern Star. Beautiful day for a sail. It's a beautiful day again here in Lunenburg Harbor. A little bit too windy. We wanted to fly the quadcopter around, but I think it's just too windy for it today, unfortunately. We've got 1 to 4 scope out in a reportedly soft, muddy bottom, but it's holding just fine on this Sunday. It's just gorgeous. We're planning on pushing off tomorrow, though, in the morning on Monday, and sailing 600 nautical miles straight to St. John's, Newfoundland. We looked at the weather report this morning, and it looks like a lot of 20-knot winds over the next week or so, but it's always from behind, so we'll always be going downwind, which is great. And, you know, Paragon can sail pretty decently in 20 knots of wind coming from anywhere from behind, but on the nose, you certainly couldn't do it in 25 knots. So I think we'll have a fast sail, fast downwind sail all the way to St. John's. The air here is just like candy. It's got this sweet smell to it. It's kind of neat. We're surrounded by water, but it smells like we're in the forest. Over here on the port side is a golf course. Nobody's out there playing right now, but that whole hill is all golf course, and up top there, that's like the building where they all set up their clubs and get on the little carts and motor around. Somebody's got a little hut there on a mooring ball. It's kind of cute. It's got a barbecue grill. I saw a boat actually tie up to that thing yesterday. These look like local boats. Nobody's on the mooring balls, really. It's a big mooring ball field. I bet that's a local sailboat. Over here, he looks like he might be from out of town. We've got a bunch of gigantic fishing vessels. It's huge. Interesting place to hang out for a little while. Oh, you moved.
I moved. You got my queen on the run here.
I do.
See, I was a bit preemptive with pulling it out, but, you know.
Yeah, usually
You leave your queen in there, do you?
Usually save the queen for later. Because if you bring her out early, it's easy for your opponent to just chase her all over the place. Have fun, guys!
made from apples. Our brandy is also made from apples. We also make rum. You're just heating up to a point which is slightly below water boiling point. We heat it with a wood fire. Heat it up, alcohol vapors are given off, pressure builds, and it feeds the vapors into the bottom of this chamber. Only the lightest refined vapors can make it all the way up. Across the top, and then down our condenser. By the time it gets to the bottom, it's a liquid again, as you can see right there. So basically, as long as we keep the fire stoked, temperature right, water coming out, it does the work for us. It will be quite strong, 80% or so. So we take it in the back and get the water it down to about 55 to 65%, anywhere in there, for barreling. That's kind of the ideal range. That's the best range it reacts with the wood. This is our production room. So you can see it's quite small. So we do our bottling, which is done 2 bottles at a time. Our labeling all done by hand. There's about 8 of us in total, including the 2 owners.
How long have you guys actually been open? And
This is our 3rd birthday. We started the business a year before to get product. So we've been producing for about a year before that. But for sales, we've been open for 3 years.
2 years.
So yeah, I can show you to the barrel room. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Our rum is aged in American bourbon barrels or whiskey barrels. We have tons from like Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Wild Turkey, as well as tons of others.
Do you ever think there's like a different flavor for like different?
Absolutely, there
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like I said, we do different barrels, different kinds of wood too. That's what's nice about doing boutique, small scale, like micro distilling. You can experiment. Every batch can be different, which is what's fun. Like you can see, these barrels are new. Those are Hungarian oak, which you saw upstairs. Our brandy was aged in. We had a barrel a while ago that was called Barrel 16 rum, and we a bee.
Yeah.
It's sugar. Bees love sugar. So.
Okay, he's preoccupied, obviously.
drunken bee.
I just saw it, it was huge, and it was crawling. I was like, ah.
If you don't hit it, knock at them, then they're not gonna do anything.
He's busy, he's got a lot to do.
Do you have any favorites? I mean, I know what you guys produce. Or...
For me, I like the pear eau de vie. I like really dry. My palate is really dry, so I don't like super sweet stuff. So the pear eau de vie, the apple brandy, I love that stuff. It's like candy for me. Since I've been started working here, you get used to high percentage alcohol. So when I started, I was like, I don't know, like it was so strong. But now, that's my favorite, I think. Yeah, I can show you guys to the fermentation room. Again, watch your head. Quite low, and you always forget about it on the way back up.
Ooh.
So the owners actually lived in here. That was their kitchen, their living room.
Oh, it smells good.
You see all these giant stainless steel containers? These are all fermenting stuff. So come on through. So this is rum. This is molasses that's fermenting. And you can see it's bubbling and kind of moving. That's simply because what's happening is the yeast is converting the sugar into alcohol. So it's kind of alive right now. Which is how it comes out of the bourbon barrel after about a year and a half or so. We have our amber rum. It's darker, it's a lot smoother. It takes the pepperiness that you get from the bourbon barrels off. And then we have a black spiced rum called our Blue Nose rum. We brought it out last summer to commemorate the relaunch of the Blue Nose 2.
How do you make black rum versus white rum?
What you add into it. A lot of people think that it's from aging.
Yeah.
You'd never get a product that looks this dark from aging. You can't get that from a barrel. We add caramel, a lot of molasses, and 2 spices into it. So it's the
So
molasses.
is that added after the 3rd time it goes
After
through?
it goes through a barrel. After all that, we can separate it and then process it how we like. Yeah. We have apple brandy, which we age in Hungarian oak. Those are those light barrels up there. We have vodka, which we actually make from apples. So it's a little different from your normal potato or grain vodka.
Just a bit there. Nice. Very natural. I suppose. How many times have you given that to her? Like?
It would make me feel a lot more comfortable.
That's great. That's really good.
There's the raspberry. And again, this really knocks the socks off.
So this raspberry, you guys make this raspberry
We do.
yourself? Yeah.
Yes. So it's just raspberry, neutral alcohol, and a little bit of sugar.
And 2 distillations and...
No distillation for them. This is just infused.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they're like
Chocolate with
the
and they have the
center.
pudding inside. We drink that over ice cream.
Yeah. Give that a try. So well, listen, thanks for
Much
that.
honored.
I bet you guys must have to try really hard not to get smashed in work.
Yeah, we get smashed after work.
That's good. You like, oh, let me try this.
Looking at this weather report here, we are going from here to here. I wish I had a more zoomed in view, but this is all I can get from passageweather.com. Generally winds out of the southwest between 15 and 25, a little bit further offshore, and that might affect us as well. Going into Tuesday, still winds out of the southwest, a little bit lighter because that green, heavier wind area is moving east and further offshore. This puts us in between 5 and 20 knots of wind, or it would be about 100 nautical miles by tomorrow morning, which puts us right about there. Okay, continuing on, here's the Wednesday frames. Still out of the southwest, be about there. Go to the Thursday frames. It's variable and stronger to our south. We've got wind from the southeast, from the north, from the south, and we'll be right in the middle of that. In light winds between 5 and 10 knots. We think we'll be arriving around Sunday. Monday, which is a week from today, it shows this thing with stronger winds out of the south of 30 knots and gusting higher, I'm sure. That doesn't look very appealing, but it's a week out, and we are hoping that we will make St. John's before that. Which means we should step on the gas and get out of here. Making coffee. We're all doing our last minute Wi-Fi computer stuff before we push off. Anna, you've been looking at the Canadian Weather Service ice information. What do you think?
Before when I was...
To you,
Well, Dave, it looks like ice charts are pretty good out here on the east coast now. Funk Island Bonds and the east coast ain't reporting no icebergs at the moment. No, I was looking at the Canadian Weather Service. There's a 30-day forecast, and then I'll show you it says 30-day ice outlook for East Newfoundland waters. It breaks it down into individual sections, so right from Belle Isle Bank up here on the chart,
Yep.
and it works its way down.
So you've got a text description report for each of these areas.
Yeah. It defines first year ice, old ice, and then talks about fast ice.
Wow.
And then kind of bergy bits, and then there's, in certain reports, there's a measurement of ice in tenths.
Yep.
So it's, if you have 1/10 ice, then it's 1 part ice, 9 parts water. And the closer you get to 10 out of 10, pretty much that's looking at
Solid.
it's becoming pack ice. And it's said in the cruising guide, if we ever see anything more dense, then I think it's open drift. You shouldn't go near it. Oh, and then there's, like, I have the chart there.
Thank you.
So is 1/10 a concern?
No.
No.
No, it's you.
I heard it was anything more than like 2, definitely 3.
Yep.
Like if you saw anything more than that, you should stay away.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
There was 2 reports that had ice down to here,
Yep.
and that had 2 icebergs. It's in a 60 nautical mile area, but all this coastline here, where we're going to be sailing,
Nothing.
completely
Nothing.
clear.
Now St. John's is it's just around the corner there, on the eastern
Just here, isn't it?
shore.
So,
yeah.
like that, I had a look and I looked again, and I didn't see anything there.
Yeah.
There's an ice report and there's an iceberg report.
Yep.
So this is our iceberg report, which tells us about how many icebergs have been reported in the area. You can see at the edge, they give like a safety zone. There's no reported ice in these sections,
Yep.
but they've brought out the maximum limit to say there's no ice up to here.
I'm wondering if when we push off from St. John's right here, are we going to go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 360 miles due east before we start turning north? When I estimated distance before, I thought we were going to go straight through that, and we were coming in at like 1,200 miles. But if we go east for 300 miles before we turn north, then it's going to turn into a 1,500 nautical mile trip, which will make it much longer.
See here? See the route that we're going to do? It's kind of a lower concentration of ice. I think when we get to Newfoundland, the people there will be able to say, oh, those icebergs, listen, don't worry about, from 50 degrees west, if you stay to the east of that, you're fine. Or don't even worry until you get to 50 degrees, 53 degrees, 50 degrees north. It could be there's only 5 big icebergs in a 60 thing area.
Yeah.
And just keep your radar on. If you see radar,
Yeah.
see icebergs on the radar, then just avoid them.
Do you think they're going to say something like, well, just don't go into any sector that reportedly has more than 4 icebergs and then be careful at night, or
Could be something
hove to at night?
Yeah. But one thing I didn't realise was if you're looking at an iceberg,
Yeah.
to double check it with the radar. I think it's your depth perception, but you can't really tell if it's really big or if it's far away sometimes. So you double check just to be sure so that it's not a small one that's actually quite close.
I wonder how much is under the water, you know, how much spans out from what's visible outward and is underwater. Like, how close can we get to these things? Can we get right up to them, or do we have to stay?
It depends on the year of the ice as well.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
If an iceberg is like old ice, or if it's first year ice, or they say there's like different strengths
Old
to it,
ice is much more dangerous.
and they can say you can push through like that. You can push through certain ice. And look, I had the information here. It was like 2 o'clock when I was looking at it, so I was like, right.
This is our first voyage to ice for all of us. We're taking in as much information and advice as we can. We've amassed all of the cruising guide and weather guide and chart guide books that exist. You know, aside from having somebody aboard who's done it before, I think we're as prepared as we can be. Safety first.
Up to St. John's. It's essentially we're just operating the same as we have done before.
Yeah, we're just offshore sailing.
I'm just saying, if you see a blip on the radar, avoid the blip.
Yep.
Be it iceberg or ship.
Yeah.
Are you trying to like be
I didn't. I just realised. I was like, hey, ship and blip, they're right.
After coffee, we'll get the dinghies on deck and get out of here.
I'm gonna get some.
So the weather looks good, the boat's ready, the crew's ready. We just gotta let this fog lift before we push off. Gotta get the dinghy on deck, and then we are out of here. So wish us luck. Hopefully 6 to 7 days to St. John's, Newfoundland.
Those sneaks are small. These days in the road by the wall. Tonight, I let it all out. I've grown so tall. I'm a giant beach star. Someday I'll fall, but not today. Someday I'll fall and I'll say, hey, there's a whole lot of nothing I'ma play today. Be a friend, be a buddy, and light the way. Used to come in the youth that fades away. Never mind, I guess I'll be on my way.
Yeah, that's Phoebe. She's 11 years old.
Aww.
She's pretty old, and she's our
Hey.
greeter.
Hey, buddy.